Good evening. Good
How we
evening,
doing?
sports fans. Good evening to the room. How's everybody?
Doing well. Doing well.
So
Awesome.
Right.
So
All
good.
right. It's Wednesday, January 19th. I got the date right this week. I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
Have your big boy pants on.
I got my big boy pants on. I got my Phillies hoodie on because I'm screaming Dream Week this week.
There you go.
Yeah, but we're this fan's view. We're sponsored by City Distilling, and I highly recommend you guys check out their page because they got some sweethearts of a deal
They do.
going on. See what I did there?
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
Oh yeah.
So they got some good looking specials, and so we as a group probably need to set a date to get up there.
Oh yeah.
Do a little partying with them. But yeah, we're happy to have them on board.
I know Susan.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Drink. She's changed her middle name to Drink. But Lauren, the new sponsorship shirts are ordered, correct?
They are. Yep. We should have them for next week's show.
All right, and that next week's show is where?
Hanrahan's Irish Pub.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
How's Thomas?
And we'll be talking football with the big fella. He always brings a good time. That's his middle name.
Oh yeah.
So we've all worked with him in the past. He's just a good time waiting to happen.
He definitely likes to have fun.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I'm curious to hear what he has to say. But John, fantasy football. I see the Bill Berge jersey is up.
Yes.
That's what we're giving away. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
All right. We have Carl's Cards and Collectibles is giving up the Bill Berge jersey for the winner of the fantasy football playoff edition. So we have 70 people involved this year, which is awesome. We got probably about 7 or 8 new players from the regular season. We lost a couple of people from the regular season that weren't able to do it. But yeah, it's going good. We got John Bell was the high scorer for week 1 of the playoffs. And Tina Martino Newman is the second place. Lewis Monroe is in third. Timothy Egan's in fourth. Emily Field is in fifth. She's kicking butt. She kicked Henry's butt again, and Henry also brought a friend of his, and she kicked both of their butts.
Wow!
So she's really doing well. Christopher Newman's in sixth. Jay Rizzett is in seventh. Rick Smith is in eighth. Daniel Schmidt is in ninth, and Donna Felino Gracio is in 10th. So it's going well. Everybody's off to a good start. For the people that are behind a little bit, looking at the standings, don't worry about it, because some of the people that have got the high scores right now had 24 players scoring this week versus some people only had 12 people that were playing this week because of buys. So it's not a problem. You're all doing well. Just keep, it all matters, as it goes throughout the, as it gets closer to the Super Bowl, you just want to have more players in at that time. So everybody's doing well. Everybody got their votes in on time. So that was good. You're welcome, Henry. And, yeah, so it's going well. We just got to see what's going on. And, Mario's got the lead with us over me right at the moment with he's got a 19-point lead over me right at the moment with
and that's Mario, just in case nobody was able to identify him with that manly beard that he has going. That's Mario Gallo going there. So he's kept that look. You were up here in the north and you never had that.
I know.
Now you're down south in the heat, and you got.
It's coming off soon, I think. We'll see. I don't know. I kind of got used to it.
So I'm going to give you your 3 minutes of fame. Tell us about your fishing exposition this past weekend. Talk about it a little bit.
It's an annual trip that the four of us do. Me, Bill Gordon, Tom Graham, and Bruce Host. Bruce lives down here in Siesta Key. I met him last year for the first time. Bill and Tom I've known, God, I think since I've been 18. So there's a shad and crappie tournament over in Orlando. So we went over there Friday and fished Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Came home yesterday, and I think Bill's going to win the tournament this year. I did not place at all.
Oh wow!
Beginner's luck last year. So
yeah, Bill's a serious fisherman.
So Bill lives to fish for shad. Up in Pennsylvania, between April and May, you don't see him, you don't hear from him because he's out at 3 o'clock in the morning, fishes till he goes to work, works until 3, 4 o'clock, and then we'll fish again until it's time to go to bed. And he repeats that for the entire month of May or April, and then May. Okay. He realized that there was a shad tournament down here, so now he's extended it to January, and now he wants to come back down in February and do it again.
There you go.
So yeah, he's a serious fisherman. Me, I do it when it's fun. I do it when I have a chance. I'm nowhere near Bill's level. So, but okay. It'll be fun.
You guys had fun. You drank a couple cold ones and had fun.
We did. We actually stopped fishing on Sunday to go watch the Eagles game. Probably wish we hadn't done that, but we did it anyway. And then went fishing afterwards because the game was so horrible.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it was neat.
All right. Well, you got the Gallo clans on. Everybody's checking in, so I guess they're getting excited for the weekend to go visit. To go visit Sarasota. So I hope you got your checkbook ready.
More credit card, but yeah, it is.
Either one. You need them both. Lauren, so I'm going to throw it over to you because Monday was a pretty exciting day. You got the Betty White Challenge, and I know you guys were heavily involved with Humane Pennsylvania. Why don't you give us a few minutes of how that turned out?
So on Monday would have been Betty White's 100th birthday. So a sort of a viral challenge went out probably about 2 weeks ago, I guess, kind of around the time that she passed away, encouraging folks to make a donation to a local animal shelter in her memory. So really kind of the first day that she passed away, we started to receive a few donations. But Monday, by far, we saw the most single donations we've ever received as an organization to Humane Pennsylvania, raising close to $10,000, which awesome. For a one-day initiative is just, it's incredible. Lots of shelters saw very similar support. So it was just really great to see. And we saw a lot of new folks donating to the organization that haven't otherwise. So that was really awesome as well to kind of have them on board now and hopefully keep that support going. So that was really awesome. I would say probably the highlight of the day on Monday was a stray dog actually happened to sort of just wander into this movie theater that we were set up in because they were showing the Betty White Celebration movie at a couple of local theaters. And we were invited to participate as an animal shelter. So we had a table set up there, and a stray dog sort of just wanders into the movie theater very coincidentally, as if she knew that there would be an organization there that could help her. She was sort of on the brink of hypothermia because she'd been out and running for so long. Pretty much every ounce of her fur was soaking wet. She was shaking. So we quickly kind of intervened there and got her back to our shelter. She has not been owner claimed, which isn't a big surprise considering the conditions we found her in. So she's going to go up for adoption probably towards the end of January. She was a female dog, so we very conveniently named her Betty. So she'll go up for adoption the end of January, and she's doing really well now. So that was just a fun little moment where otherwise, if we hadn't been there set up for that day, what would have happened to her? So just kind of a fun story.
Was there an uptick in people coming out looking to possibly take home a new furry friend?
Well, it's hard to say because Mondays, typically, obviously, the weekends are our busier days because that's when majority of folks have off. But really, with the challenge being more of a monetary thing, we always we facilitate at least one adoption a day, regardless of what day it is.
Okay.
So I would say more people are now aware of animal shelters and just the animal sheltering world in general. So I definitely think we will start to see an increase in just awareness around that. Also, Change a Pet's Life Day is happening this Monday, and we are hosting a fee-waived adoption weekend for that at both our Berks and Lancaster shelters. So that starts on Friday, runs through Monday. So I imagine we'll kind of carry that Betty White challenge momentum into the weekend.
Very cool. Nice. Anything else going on? Any good drinking events that you want to share with everybody?
Well, tomorrow night we'll be going to the Reading Hot Stovers event. That's always a lot of fun for me because it does include free beer and wine. And I do take part in that. So Friday morning should be a hoot.
I would be disappointed otherwise.
Thank you. So yeah, that'll be happening tomorrow night. But other good drinking events?
Not right now.
No, nothing good at the moment to report on.
No.
Things are quiet, huh?
Yeah, tends to be in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about your partner over there? What's we ain't seen him for a few weeks. He's kind of been staying away from us. Anything happening with the fightings that you can share?
Nothing new right now. Just working on the promotional schedule. A lot of different meetings on this new building that's going to be up for the end of the 2023 season. But no, other than that, just grinding away. No big news, nothing right now.
Okay, grinding away seems to be you guys' motto.
Yeah,
I mean it's what you guys do.
Yep.
What's going on with the lockout? I don't know. That was one of my questions. Has anybody heard anything?
He's probably got Ryan. You probably have as much information as we do.
They talked a little bit, but that's it.
they talked. I think it was a little bit for show. I'm not sure, but it doesn't look like it lasted very long.
No.
And we're coming up on, I don't know how many days left. About 10 days, let's say, until they could start spring training on time, which is looking extremely unlikely at this point. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, from all I've read, they couldn't be any further away. The owners seem to want to get it a little bit more competitive for each team, and be a little bit more fair, and the players, are trying to make, it's all about money. The players want to make as much, and it's just a tough situation. I don't know how they're going to fix it in the short term, because it's not a short term problem. It's sort of like a bigger issue. So, I mean, hopefully they can get some of the smaller things figured out, and maybe, I don't know if there's a way to have like a 1-year deal to get through this year, and then they could talk through the season. But
let me ask you a question, Anthony. Is it more like you have too many good players on your team, so you're better, so we need to move players to another team?
No. So what I think it is I think baseball's struggling. If you look at ratings and kids playing and all that stuff, and those numbers have gone down, and basketball and football and those other things.
Soccer.
Football hasn't even really gone up. Football's sort of plateaued, but hockey and basketball have actually gone up. And I think Major League Baseball sees that, and they see that it's not in the long term successful, even though it's very successful today. We're getting older and less kids are watching it. So, I think they want it to be like you have in basketball and football, where if you're a team in Cincinnati or, Pittsburgh or Tampa or one of these places, that you can compete yearly. Or if you can't compete at 1 year, in football, it only takes you really 2 years to go from like 2 wins to the playoffs.
Which we've seen.
Yeah, I think they just want to feel like there's, hope. And if you have that throughout the entire country, and you have more playoff teams like you see in basketball and football, I mean, up until the last week or so of the year, majority of teams seem to at least have still a chance in football. And I think that's what they want to keep people interested. So,
Well, here's what I'm saying. And I hear this from a lot of people that are not baseball fans. Baseball is a boring sport if you're not a fan of it. Because there's not a lot of action, there's not a lot of moving because they slowed the game down so much.
Well, we were talking about this the other day. I was talking to John at the shop, and the the analytics for the other sports have sort of made them a little bit quicker, it seems. So basketball and making quick passes and being more offensive, that's very quick. Football, the same thing. You throw more instead of running. It makes it more exciting for the fans, more scoring. For baseball, analytics has seemed to go the opposite way. So because they have so much information, the guys are swinging less unless it's a perfect pitch. So you're either striking out or you're hitting a home run. That gets very, very, very boring.
It does.
They don't want to waste runs with or waste outs with bunts and stealing and that sort of thing. And that what used to be fun. And there's not as many base hits anymore. So those things are actually slowing down the game. And I think that's why people are not having as good of a time.
Well, also the difference between basketball, football, and baseball is basketball and football have shot clocks.
Yeah, I don't think, I would hope that they would never get to the point where they would do something. They're in an interesting spot, Rob Manfred. You have to balance the people that really enjoy baseball, and you have to balance how you're going to make it more competitive. And they've tried things with clocks and robotic umpires and things like that. And
I think that'll ruin the game.
Yeah, the further you do that, it's a very delicate balance. So I don't envy what he has to do. But I think if you just made it a little bit more honestly, more competitive for the markets that don't have a chance, I think people would come around to it. It might not be the number one sport, but instead of going from 2 to 3, it could stay at number 2.
Right.
If there's a ton of teams that you go into the year and they have 0 chance. I mean, you can't sustain a league like that. It's been 40 plus years like that. You gotta fix things up.
Right.
Well, here's 2 cents worth of nothing. Saturday, when Matt Stairs was in the store, we talked to Matt a little bit about the lockout. We talked baseball. We talked him being retired, and he basically told us that he's retired as long as baseball stays the way it is. They forced all the old timers away from the game. They're fully invested in analytics, and they don't want us old timers part of the game. And when you hear that, and John, you're there, you're not far from the conversation to hear what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Charlie, I mean, he laid it out for us, when he was in the store. Larry Boa, when he was in the store, same thing. And now Matt Stairs. These are old disciples of the game. I mean, they're what baseball was built on. And to change the game as drastic as they want to change, with the full analytics. We look at the Phillies. I mean, they went from 0 to 60 in less than 2 years.
Right.
They now have the largest analytic group. They have a building across from the stadium that houses all the analytic people.
But at some point, don't you think it's too much?
No,
I think
most definitely.
I think naturally we're going to have to get to a point where there's more of a general balance. Yes, I understand that, but they're using it as the end all be all instead of a tool. And they have to get it to be a tool, and they have to figure out that it's not about adding clocks and this and that. It's about playing how they used to play, and that was fun to watch. Just I don't know. It's not going to be an easy process. They're pretty far away. I know Stephanie has mentioned that the Players Association is probably going to respond here pretty soon. I would imagine they would respond. I would imagine it's not going to be nearly on the same page. I don't think, because the things that they want are far different. But hey, I mean, you never know. Everything comes down to money in the end of the day. So hopefully they figure it out and at least take baby steps to get where you eventually need to be. I mean, you got to feel like you're getting to the point where you feel like other markets are competitive. I mean, you see in football, you see Cincinnati, Green Bay. If that was baseball teams, those teams would have no chance. That just shows how unfair it is.
Yep.
And how long has it taken Cincinnati to get to where they're at today? I mean, that's they've been trying to build that for years.
Right.
I mean, Green Bay's a little different. I mean, they've been in my eyes, they've been a dynasty forever. I mean, you go back to the old days with them. But before we get away, from the whole baseball thing, Dream Week is this week for the Phillies. That used to be a big, used to be a big thing down in Clearwater. I don't know. I haven't heard from anybody today yet. I know Lauren put out a little something, hoping to, hear from a couple people, because I know we've got a couple regulars in the store. Steve Scalish, Bonnie Strang. Bonnie's been going forever and ever and ever. This is Steve's first year, which I think is very cool, because he made a commitment to himself. If he ever lost a ton of weight, that was on his bucket list to do, and good for him. He's down there checking in today, and that's pretty cool. So, I mean, I don't know what their the venue looks like this year. I don't know how many people signed up for it. I haven't seen a whole lot. Usually there's a lot more going on activity wise, people, taking pictures as such. But we'll see. It lasts for the weekend. And I know Steve made a comment this morning. He was getting on the aircraft with Milt Thompson. So Milt was going to be down, playing as one of the old time Phillies down there. So,
and do you actually play? Like you take like batting practice,
yes.
Play a game, and like
Yep.
So this
they assign you a uniform number, a locker room, a
You
locker.
get 6 games.
You play all week, back and forth. After they figure out, the teams, and then they play the championship game on the big field up at what's it now? Spectrum. What's the name of the field?
Yeah, I think it's Spectrum. Yeah.
Spectrum Field. They play the championship game up there on Sundays.
Yeah.
On Sunday. So that'd be a pretty cool event. But like I said, I'm just curious to see the amount of people because I know last year they held it down in South Philly. You know what I mean? So it wasn't it wasn't as cool as Clearwater could be. So you guys, before we leave the baseball segment and we move on, John, you got anything? I know you're a big baseball guy.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that like we were talking with Anthony, they want to slow up the game, with these analytics. What's wrong with stealing bases and stuff? It's exciting when you have like a Vince Coleman, stealing 100 bases in a year, or Ricky Henderson going, and that brings excitement to a game, done properly.
But if the analytics tell you not to steal, you don't steal.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the game, though. Moving runners. It's all. They all want to save like 9 minutes out of a game, for TV times or whatever. And it's like, if you're worrying about 9 minutes in a baseball game, you're talking at 30 seconds for each half inning of a baseball game, then you're not really a baseball fan if you're going to be bored because of that. And to change the game completely, it's like Anthony said, you're going to lose the older folks that enjoy it, and then the young kids aren't, if they're not liking it because of whatever reason, then that's you're gonna kill the sport. And
they don't like to get off real quick. I mean, they don't like the small ball, not because they don't like it in general, but because a bunt and moving a runner over is a guaranteed out, whereas they don't want that because they feel like there's only X amount of outs in the game. So if you do that, you're wasting an opportunity. Whereas that takes away the excitement. You're right. I mean, that's the whole.
But small ball to me is more exciting.
Well, but it's also analytics makes it easy for everybody not to be blamed. It takes the blame away from everything. Well, the analytics said to do this today, so that's why we did this. Well,
it doesn't matter that you suck, but the analytics told us to do that.
Right. So it takes away, general managers for making bad picks. It takes the fault away from them because they're going.
All right. So you struck a nerve because the Rays, who have one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball, but yet every year that I can remember, they're competitive. They come up with, and they've been using analytics probably longer than anybody.
Right.
They hire managers that, mostly guys that, you're like, really? Seriously? You're going to, he's going to be your manager, and he turns out to be manager of the year.
So is it a case that our analytics is better than your analytics?
Well, obvious. That's obvious. I mean,
that's been the case with a lot of these teams for a long time. Like, people always talk about, how can the Rays be good if the Pirates aren't good? The Rays have the same payroll, blah, blah, blah. You can have a salary cap. It doesn't mean the Pirates are going to be better. They can still make horrible decisions. It just makes it a little bit more fair. The Rays have done a very good job of being in the scouting department, finding things that other people don't find. When they win the championship and they get rid of everyone, that's what wouldn't fly in a lot of other places. But because there aren't as many people paying attention there, they can totally regroup. And that's why it seems like they're good all the time. The Cardinals are one of those teams too. I don't know why the Phillies and these other teams don't go start getting all those guys from Tampa Bay and from Philadelphia and from St. Louis. I mean, they're in it every single year.
Oakland's the same way. They started it with Moneyball.
So I mean, at a certain point, and I think the Phillies have started doing it. Getting rid of some of the guys that have been around a long time, even if they're good guys, and you got to figure it out because the minor league system in Philadelphia right now is pretty bleak at the moment.
Well, we got talk about that. The prospects, the top 100 prospects came out, and we got 2 of them in the top 100. Bryson Stott jumped up to 67, and Mick Abel up to 51. But like you said, those are your 2 top prospects, and they're not even in the top 50. So, it's
and bringing it, reeling it into what the Phillies just spent on international money. The past week or so. They were, if not the leader on the board, they were in the top 5 for money spent for kids 16, 17, 18 years old.
I mean, it seems like they spend a lot of money doing that, over the years. They just, again, like Anthony says, you're picking the wrong players.
You're picking the wrong players. You're developing the guys in the wrong sense. I know a name that we keep throwing out there week in and week out. Jalen Ortiz, they brought him over when he was 16 years old, and I think he might finally, see a major league camp this year for the first time.
Right.
With the opportunity to make the big league squad.
And we paid him more money than Juan Soto and Ronald Acuna.
Exactly.
In that same year. So Anthony, that goes back to Anthony's point. You just, knowing not that Ortiz is a bad player, but these guys got there quicker, and they paid, other teams paid less money for them.
Yeah, and I guess the question is, sometimes those guys end up not being the greatest player, but then you got guys like Kingery we talk about a lot, where they internally kind of messed some of that stuff up. So it's like it goes all around. You really need good coaching and scouting the entire way through, and if one level is different than another level, everyone's got to be on the same page, and that's
you go back to the Rays. I mean, I continue to look at them year in and year out, and what what phenomenal things that they do with young players. It's just crazy that I mean, I'll use the Phillies because that's all the team. That's all I know. And we continue to make these same mistakes year in and year out.
We do.
I know, Anthony, you complain about the Pirates, but we're spending the money and we're no better. You know what I mean? We're no better than the Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, if you if you miss the playoffs by a lot or you just miss the playoffs, it really doesn't matter because you missed the playoffs.
Exactly.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Yeah, great. We've got the MVP. We've got Bryce Harper. We've got, Zach Wheeler. We've got, 3 or 4 really good players. And then that's it. It's now what do we do?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just, it's a constant struggle. But I think we used up our Phillies in our baseball segment. Pretty darn good conversation.
Oh yeah.
Flyers. It's pathetic here. It's bad. It's really, really bad. I mean,
can they actually get a second 10 game losing streak?
I mean, how about it? Would anyone ever have thought that this year?
They haven't won a game yet this year.
So at some point, don't you just have a little I don't know. When I get mad at, don't you go in a room and scream, or the Giroux just goes and shakes everyone by the head? What are you doing? You're happy with getting paid and that's it.
They just have officially just given up.
But it's not even close to the end of the year.
Seems like
There's plenty of games.
44 games I think left on the game.
Yeah, I mean, you just gave up, and you feel like you gave up way before this.
I was going to say it's early to give up.
Yeah, you're halfway through.
It's I mean, for a franchise that's, I mean, we go back. When's the last time? We're still carting around, the 74-75 Stanley Cup. I mean, that's basically all we got to hang our hat on.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's been pathetic. It's just not good times right now. Here's a real quick note for you guys, and I'm sure most of you know who Danny Briere is, right? Yeah. Well, they just blocked him from talking to the Montreal Canadiens about becoming their general manager in Montreal.
What's that tell you?
I'm not sure what it tells you. Danny's just, he just retired a few years ago. Nice player, very nice player, great guy.
Why would you block him?
Well, I mean, do they have some big, something big in store for Danny Briere? Is he going to be the next coach, the next general manager, the next something?
Yeah, but you think you might tell him that before you say, hey, don't go talk to this team.
Or did they tell him and it's just not being told to us?
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, I mean, that could be, but we hear what we're supposed to hear as fans.
Right.
You know what I mean? It leaks out. It didn't leak out from anybody in Philadelphia. I pay more attention to the national guys because, they give you more information.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that came from. Danny's got roots up in Montreal. He played there. You know what I mean? But, he stayed here. He's another guy who stayed in Philadelphia to raise his family.
Right.
He's a Philly guy now.
So if this continues through the end of the year and nothing really improves, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? Because it wasn't that long ago that they seemed like a competitive, balanced team. I mean, do you just rip everything apart and start over? I mean, what do you do?
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if they know what they're doing.
I was hearing today on the way in that there's some rumblings that Drew's going to be traded at the deadline. Finally.
Well, what is that going to do?
Are you going to get him for him?
Well, I don't know if you're going to get anything, but hopefully that would shake them up, and change the direction of the team a little bit.
One of your best players from all time. You know what I mean? All time, leading scorer as a captain. No, never won anything, but let me tell you, he put his heart and soul out on the ice.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And now you're going to turn around and trade him for a bag of chips, just so you don't have to re-sign him at the end of the year.
Right.
Or maybe he wants to go. Do you think he might want to go?
Well, obviously, he'd love to go to a contender and have a shot at winning a Stanley Cup. That seems to be the motto these days.
Right.
Right? No matter what sport.
Yeah. But at least maybe that would change the direction, because it just seems like, at least to the fans, he doesn't seem to be the fiery leader, and he's a quiet leader, which you don't know how he is inside the locker room itself. But
yeah,
it just seems like the team's flat, and he's a reflection of that. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I know that when Ed Snyder was alive, I mean, he would spend good money, bad money, stupid money. I mean, he would spend the money. He would try to bring a winner here to Philadelphia, regardless. And,
Right.
and I think we've lost that. We've lost it because even a lot of the older players are now become malcontent because they're not involved in the daily activities that they once were. At the Wells Fargo Center. They've moved off in a different direction. So it's sad because, I really thought the team at the beginning of the year, and I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of people had picked the Flyers to be a playoff type contender.
Oh, yeah.
They came out on fire.
They made some great moves. They shored up some things. And yeah, I know they had injuries and COVID hit them really bad, but guess what? That's the NHL, man.
Right.
And
all with all this, the goalies are playing well. That's the part that's the part that's frustrating. The goalies are, it's not like last year. Everybody said the goalies were bad.
You're not losing because of them.
Right.
You're not losing because of them. You're losing. I mean, they get it, jump out in front 2-0. They can't hold the lead. The teams come back on them. They lose in overtime. And it used to be a big deal to grab that point. Well, it was important then because you were in the top 4 or top 5, and you still had a playoff spot. But now it's just I just don't think that the team is surrounded with the right management. I don't think we have the right people running the show.
Mm-hmm.
The GM is another guy from another organization that did nothing in Minnesota. And I think we're feeling that. I think the guy that's probably the happiest man on earth is out in Pittsburgh right now, and that's Ron Hextall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think they didn't want to listen to him. He wanted a little bit more time. He wanted to practice patience, and they didn't want that. They wanted to push. And I think that's what you're seeing now, that these young players weren't ready.
Don't tell that to Clarkie.
I know.
Yeah.
I love Robert Earl Clark, but I think he's wrong on this one.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. I mean, you see it, and I don't know, I think I heard something on the way in there. They're 0-16 on their last 16 penalty shots, or not penalty shots, but the overtime shots. And, 6 of the last ones they didn't even hit the net. Like, how do you not hit the net during
It's pathetic. But you know what? We wasted more time than we should, because I know Laura wants to dig into her 76ers, and she wants to bring us up to speed. What do you got for us? Come on, break it down.
Well, I am hoping that maybe before this trade deadline, they can get some help for Joel Embiid, because as optimistic as I would like to be, I don't see this team having a whole lot of luck without some assistance there. And the rest of the guys that are surrounding him are just way too inconsistent for any type of real true playoff run. So as exciting as they are to watch right now, I know they lost, more recently. But just overall as a team, I think Joel Embiid has finally become the leader that we hoped he could be. And that is a rarity, I think, here in Philadelphia. We put all our eggs in these players' baskets, assuming the Claude Giroux of the world, the Reese Hoskins of the world, you assume these guys are going to take on that leadership role and really develop. And I truly believe that Joel Embiid is probably the only one in recent memory for me that has really taken that leadership role. I mean, I was listening to a press conference the other day that he was doing, and he was talking about, when it's an off day, he watches the tape and does all that stuff, but he interacts with his trainers and just his advisors and people that are with him on such a daily basis, making sure he's always doing what's best for the team, that he's always making sure he's putting himself in the right spots to do the right things. And he finally has become that veteran leader that we all knew he could be, because he finally put in the time and the effort, and he grew up a little bit, which that just comes with age.
Right.
But he matured.
He matured, and I think he's also healthy. I think he's healthy, and I think that's a big part of his game, being healthy.
But they're not they're not going to win a championship on Joel Embiid's back alone. So
Right.
until that missing piece can come along, we all hoped it was Ben Simmons. It's not Ben Simmons. It's never going to be him. The team is not going to win anything. The team is not going to be a contender until we get rid of the Ben Simmons saga, because while he's here and while he's dragging that team down with this nonsense, they're never going to be able to get ahead of it.
Right. That's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's the rumors are really heating up. I mean, they're where we used to see 1 or 2 a week. Now we're seeing 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah.
There's really some. I don't know how true the proposals are, what the teams are offering, but there are teams out there that are interested in trading for Ben Simmons.
That's my question. How valid are these rumors that are out there?
They're coming from some good national media type people that you respect in their craft.
Right.
That they're doing. They're just not throwing. We'll give you Gallo and Henderson for Simmons. You know what I mean? These.
I think that's a good trade.
Well, it probably is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But these general managers, they're going to try and steal Ben Simmons for as little as possible. That's the negotiating part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The deadline's coming. I believe, John, February 10th. Is the trade deadline. And I'll be honest with you, I think he's gone by then. I really do.
The way things are moving, like you said, there's more talk. Whenever there's more smoke coming around, it's going to eventually happen. It's just a matter of a few teams here and there that think that they have a shot now at the playoffs, type of thing. They see where they're at, that they can make a move here or there.
Well, the East is the East. We always talked about before how the West has been better for a long time. The East is getting a lot better, a lot quicker. And I just looked at the standings. The Sixers have the last spot in there, and that's after all those games of Joel sacrificing everything, and they barely have the last spot. So even if they make this playoffs, the first thing you would do is you double team Joel Embiid, whatever you got to do, stop him, and then the game's over, because these other guys they're not consistent. Tobias Harris, what happened? I mean, they're just not. They're not consistent, and I don't.
Well, it's a two-man game right now. It's him and Curry. You know what I mean? It's a two-man game,
and that doesn't seem like a championship. No, right there.
Positively, it's not. Tobias hasn't lived up to his max contract. Danny Green's not been healthy. And when he is healthy, he can't even hit the net, let alone hit a three. I don't care what the deal involves, as long as it doesn't involve Maxey.
Right.
He's the only kid that I honestly truly want to see them. I think the kid's got so much potential.
There's just not that much on that team. I feel that's the other unfortunate thing. I mean, unless you give up unless some team takes a bunch of bench players, a bunch of them, just have power and numbers and hope for the best.
You got Shake Milton. He's tradable. You got Tobias tradable. You got
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown Jr. God bless him. God bless. That's somebody's son right there. Stop.
Drummond's the other one.
Well, that's the thing I don't understand. His last name is Brown, and you think we're going to go with Charlie. This is a good thought. Like, you could have given him any other name in the book. I mean, I get he's named after someone. I understand it.
That's where they snuck in the junior.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You just know for the rest of his life, everybody's going to giggle every time they say his name.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't, unless they do something major. I mean, sounds horrendous, but I feel like they're out immediately in the playoffs. And I mean, he's got to perform every single night to get to the playoffs in order for them to get there. They only have the last spot. I mean, the Bucks, the Bullets, all these teams are good or getting better. And,
I don't know if you've paid attention, but there's been several deals being made. They're lower end deals, but there are trades being made. And I don't know, if there's some teams that are kind of circling the wagons, getting ready to, make a run, like the Knicks, for instance. You're telling me that a Cam Reddish wouldn't have been a nice addition to the 76ers team? I mean, he's a local kid. You know what I mean? You'd have sold a few more seats. Plus, he can shoot. You know what I mean? He's very active with the ball. And he ends up going, up to New York. New York's, trying to put something together finally after all these years. I'm talking the Knicks, not the Nets.
Right.
But I truly believe, and I think it's going to come back to James Harden, coming to Philadelphia for whatever reason. I think that's going to be the name that you're going to see, come this way in the Ben Simmons trade. It may end up being a 3-way trade because I don't know how much the Nets want Ben Simmons, but
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a 3-way deal that's going to be a little bit on the complicated side to make it happen.
So you think this goes down to the wire?
I think it gets done before February, before the 10th. I honestly believe that. They cannot, as Lauren said, this saga has gone way too far. It's lasted way too long. It's time to talk playoffs. You know what I mean?
I still do not to this day understand how the NBA has not intervened yet. I don't understand how they have allowed this to continue. He is employed by the NBA, by the Sixers, and he's just allowed to just not show up, not care, not do anything. And I realize he's not getting paid. I understand that, but that doesn't work for me. I mean,
No.
How do they not intervene? How do they not force him to do something? I don't understand that dynamic at all, because I know that the players union is really, really strong. And so what do they have to say about it? What does the commissioner have to say about it? They've all sort of just turned their backs, and they're just hoping that it just either gets swept under the rug or he just goes away quietly. I just don't understand it.
It depends. If he's saying it's something, which we don't know because he's never spoken, but if he's saying it's something health-wise and it's something you can't see, then you can get away with that for a very, very, very long time.
And he can play the game.
And miraculously, I'm not saying that this is the case, maybe that health thing goes away when he gets traded. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't prove that. So I think they're in a tough position. I don't think they like it either. But I don't know anything.
Do you think he's going to go away quietly ever? No.
No, it's not. And if it is a health thing, and if that's what it is, then shame on him for not being the voice for so many people who deal with a mental illness on a daily basis and shining some light onto a real issue.
Not accepting the help that's been offered to him.
Right. And not only take the help that's been offered, but also help all of those people that don't have the platform that Ben Simmons has to bring real light to this subject, because he could do a world of good for people who struggle on a daily basis and society doesn't understand it. And instead, he's just off in, California somewhere, getting engaged, living. Life isn't passing him by. Meanwhile, the rest of us are, just waiting to see how the Sixers do. But not to keep on the Ben Simmons train, I am somewhat concerned about another very big name coming here to Philadelphia and how that's going to mesh with Joel Embiid.
Yeah, like you meant like a Harden or one of these names. I feel like
that concerns me a little bit. Joel really enjoys being a big fish in a little pond. He enjoys being the big name here in Philadelphia. He enjoys being the savior of the Sixers. I am a little bit concerned about another big name coming here and how that's all going to mesh. Not that we don't need another big name, but I'm just Joel Embiid. I think we all know he's got a little bit of an ego. He likes the praise and the excitement that he gets, but another name scares me.
Yeah, that's true.
Not necessarily just
something needs to be done for sure.
Not necessarily just another name, but Harden has had some rough, things in the past. He's not had the greatest reputation. He's sort of left the Rockets behind and things like that. And it sounds good on paper. Everyone will be excited very quickly, and if they win is one thing, but I see that ending everywhere he goes ends badly. And
but winning cures a lot of things.
Well, he's got to win. Then you got to win.
Winning cures a lot. And if he comes here to Philadelphia and puts up 30 a night, and the fans are going wild at the Wells Fargo Center, and you know how crazy the Wells Fargo Center can be with the 76ers.
People tend to forget things.
Oh, real fast. And Joel will be, he's the man. I don't I mean, I hear what you're saying, Lauren, but I really don't think that's going to be an issue. I mean, if you brought Steph Curry here, that might be a problem. But, I don't think you're getting a Steph Curry type player.
Does that mean we get rid of Seth?
Can
we trade?
I
would
just
trade Curry brothers straight up?
In a heartbeat. But hey, we got about 10 minutes left, and I know
that went fast.
Yeah. It's been a great conversation. You guys have taken it to the next level, and I'm gonna hope that it all ends well. But my fingers are crossed. I'm gonna throw the Eagles segment to the to the guy that gives us a hard time all the time.
All the time. So Johnny, why don't you lead us off, and let's see where this goes.
Well, I mean, it's obviously it was an ugly game on Sunday.
That's putting it mildly.
31-0. I mean, it got so bad even Lauren wanted Jalen Hurts out of the game. So to bring Minshew in.
I was just looking for a little excitement. That's all. Jalen Hurts, he just didn't have it. He just didn't have it on Sunday. You weren't winning the game at that point when I posted that. Right. So why not let the guy come in? He's going to put his blood, sweat, and tears out on that field, and just let him have some fun. Also, I think it proves a point with Jalen that, dude, you want to be the starting quarterback? Get your shit together and be the starting quarterback. What was that on Sunday? He looked like garbage.
Well,
whole team did.
Yeah, I mean they did, but I think I know Carl and we had a discussion about it on Monday and stuff. But
is that what that was? A discussion.
Yeah. I think this is just back to reality from what the Eagles were. I mean, I think that the last 10 weeks of the season was a mirage. We played worse teams, so we look better. I'm hoping that's a better word than saying bad teams. But we played a good team. They said here, Jalen beat us. We're going to stop the run. They had 10 guys in the box at times, and said Jalen beat us. And all he had to do was throw, and he couldn't do it, like you said. He couldn't read the defenses. They had him confused, and not that Todd Bowles does that to a lot of good quarterbacks. So that's not to be unexpected, but it just brought back all the flaws that Jalen Hurts had, and once he was limited to not being able to run and to use his legs like that for the weapons that they are, we saw what we got, and there was a lot of plays to be made. There's guys open and he missed them. That could have changed the game. Not that we would have won, but it would have got them out of the defense that they were in. And I think that's just my, that's what I've been trying to say all along, that's the limitations of Jalen Hurts. All came to fruition there in that game. That he's got a ceiling. He could beat the bad teams, which is a good thing. That's not a negative. I mean, there's a lot of other quarterbacks that have lost games and they're sitting home because of it. Justin Herbert's got they lost and to a weaker team. The Colts lost to the Jaguars the last week of the season. They could have been in the playoffs.
How about the guy with the star on his helmet?
Dak. Yeah, well, I mean, Dak. Dak's another guy. He puts up good numbers against bad teams, and when they have the good teams, then they struggle a little bit.
Mario, I got a question for you. So you watched the game in enemy territory because you're obviously an Eagles fan. I would assume Bill's an Eagles fan.
We all were.
Okay. So what was it like? Because I'm sure there were a lot of people down there wherever you were that were Tampa fans. What was the atmosphere like?
So we were one of two tables that were supporting the Eagles. There was a bunch of people at the bar also that had Eagles jerseys on. At times it was difficult to hear who was cheering for who, but it got astoundingly easier to tell as the game went on.
Right.
Because it was very loud. I mean, everybody was very nice. I'll tell you that. There was nobody who was being ignorant or rude or saying anything. Mostly because we knew that we shouldn't have been there, and we were just laughing at it how bad it was.
Right.
Also,
we were being nice as well. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But you could tell we were in enemy territory, even though we were in Orlando.
Sure.
And most of those fans also just became fans about a year ago. So they also don't know how to be fans. They didn't even know that Tampa had a football team till Brady got there anyway. So
exactly.
Some don't even know what they're supposed to do. So
yep. I was getting texts throughout the game from people that I work with telling me how much the Eagles suck and how good Brady is, and I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you because this game
I want to throw this question out to you guys, and I do it very subtly. Was the outcome because the Eagles were that bad, or was Tampa really that much better? Like where can you point a finger? Because we obviously, and I know John pointed out, shutting down, Jalen Hurts on offense, but I looked at our defense and, what they accomplished on the defense, which Jalen doesn't play defense. So we can't blame the 31-0 on him.
No.
What are you guys thinking? I mean, what did we just too young, too fast? It's Brady. Yeah, I get it. It's Brady. It's Mike Evans. It's Gronk. You know what I mean? It's, Todd Bowles, I have the utmost respect for. I did when he was here in Temple. I think he's a great coach. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I'll jump in since everybody's being quiet.
Yeah. Now we're just waiting for you to say something, John.
Yep.
I think it just shows how bad we were, because actually the Buccaneers were missing Chris Godwin, missing Antonio Brown, missing Leonard Fournette.
You would never realize that though by the amount of offense that they put up.
Well, no, just think about what they could have if they had that, if they had those guys. So yeah, I just think it just, like I said, I just thought the last half of the season was a mirage for us, and unfortunately, it came clear, that we didn't get better as people thought we were getting better as a team, and we went up against another team that was a playoff team, since now you're measured as a playoff team.
Well, so here's a question. I heard somebody calling into WIP. I think it was Monday. It wasn't yesterday. I think it was Monday. They had a problem with all the starters sitting last week, and they think that had something to do with it. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because Jalen Hurts, he came into the press conference wearing a boot again yesterday. He needed to heal up.
Right.
We also had a lot of issues because of COVID issues with the team that also affected. If you're having half your offensive line out because of COVID or whatever, why are you gonna do other things? The Cowboys game really didn't mean anything.
No, and I get that.
I mean, obviously, as you can see, I mean, the Cowboys were thinking, "Oh, hey, that just jump started us," and and they couldn't do anything against another good team that were able to do something against them. I just
when you play Tom Brady, you got to be perfect,
right,
in every aspect of your game, and
even then it's difficult to win.
And they were not perfect at all. I mean, John always talks about before, about Hurts' passing. He wasn't accurate at all. He threw so many balls over people's heads, and then you're focused on just Goddard in the first half. You're focused on DeVonta Smith in the second. They didn't do a good job of sort of spreading it around and getting. If you have no choice but to pass past all different guys. It was just a bad game, but it was, I mean, overall you got to feel like it's a positive year when most people didn't think they'd even be there in the first place.
Well, yeah,
right.
no, I mean,
we got a lot further than everybody thought we were going to get. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it was good experience because, what did I say? I think it was like 29 players. It was their first playoff game, experience that they gotten. So, I mean, that's hopefully going to be, good to see going forward. That they could lean on that next year.
Right.
Hopefully, to be able to have playoff experience.
See what they can do next year.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So on that note, you've got 4 games this weekend. Does anybody care about any of them? Or is there any games that the game most interesting to me is the Rams and Buccaneers. I just think those are 2 pretty explosive offenses right there. And I think you could see a whole lot of points. But
I think both Sunday games are going to be that way with the Chiefs and the Bills to follow up afterwards.
Yeah.
So Sunday's going to be a real good day of football.
Yeah. So on that note, we will we'll be at Hanrahan's next Wednesday night with Hollis Thomas, and I'm sure he will keep us pretty happy, pretty excited about what he thinks about the Eagles and the direction of the team. We'll get his opinion. I'm sure he'll share it. He's part of the Big Green Legion atmosphere, down there. So really looking forward to that.
I think he's going to be a fan of our sponsor, City Distilling, as well.
Oh, yeah. As long as he gets a bottle, he'll be real excited.
And he'll probably be streaming his show while you're doing yours.
Oh, there you go.
Because he did last time we were at Dagwoods. He had his phone up here and he was streaming it.
Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot of viewers. We got a lot of fans. And I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I know the Gallo clan is looking forward to a trip south this weekend. Brian Brown came out to visit us last week up at Dagwoods. That was very cool. Joe Stinger had a little surgery today. I see he's on board, so I guess Joe
made a mention that he was home and doing well.
He's doing okay. So take care, Mr. Stinger. Another guy that left the area and moved south. So you guys have any closing comments? Feel free to jump in.
All good.
All
have a
good
show next week.
From Reading to Sarasota, from Havertown to Glen Mills.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great night. Be safe.
Thank you.
See you.